visitors from Clifford and Silverwood are sitting. Yes.
In back on this side.
Okay.
He's tall. I think he has a plaid shirt on.
Yeah, there you go. All right. These are, well, special people for me. Because from my, and I say both because I'm sorry, I'm putting you with him. Trey was from my first church in Clifford. And at I want to say 14 years old, maybe 15, he was the chair of my staff parish relations or pastor parish relations. And don't anybody take this personal, but was the best SPRC chair I'd ever had. Very efficient and did a great job. So that was at 15, is now graduated from Kettering University, the old GMI, for those that don't know what Kettering is. And give me your, are you a fiance yet?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, okay. That's so cool. Give me your name again.
Lisa.
Lisa.
Yeah.
And Lisa, it is so great to have you here, and I'm glad you brought him with you. I mean, that was great. It's a joyous day. Bells, you guys did great. Sorry I messed you up there to begin with. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful day. The sun is, I think, shining or trying to outside. It's a beautiful day on the inside. This morning, we want to take a look at God, the ultimate other. All right? So oftentimes we think about, as humans, the others that are in our life. And when we think about others, we may think about family, relatives, and so on. But when we look at that, God is really the other that is in your life and mine. There is a sense in which other people are not truly others. And the reason I say that is because of the fact that we as humans are so much alike. Now, you can look around and say, well, yeah, we're not. But remember, we are all covered with skin. We don't have fur. We don't have feathers. We don't have scales. Well, some of us may have scaly skin, but anyway. And some are a little furrier than others, but basically, all right, we're set apart. We, as humans, are different. And so in that, our language is different. We don't speak dog, or maybe the dog whisperer does or whatever, but we have various language. Who knows what is the language? If you go up to somebody and you speak your language, they're speaking theirs, and it's just not working out, what do you default to? Sign language. Yeah. Okay. If you're hungry, what are you going to do? Right? Or, there's signs for things. So various signs that we have that we can, as humans, be able to communicate back and forth with each other. And our thinking, too, is there. We don't think like dogs or other creatures that have been created. God has given us a unique way of thinking, and our thinking that expands and grows as we are real people. But it's the similarity that enables us to know and really understand each other. Do you remember the Tower of Babel, the history and biblical history? They're the people from all around the world. Now, that may have been a small area that you're talking about, depending, but still all the people spoke one language. And because of that, they decided they wanted to be like God. And so they're going to build this big tower. Well, God took care of that. Basically made them change languages, and when you can't communicate, they couldn't and didn't have sign language back then with each other. So all of a sudden, they were then scattered and had to speak with God individually from that. But the thing is, if we look at this and think about it, we are, each of us, where other people either are today. In other words, some of those that are maybe close to retirement or just into retirement, maybe similar to where I am in age-wise. And then there are others who are just beginning, like Trey and Lisa. Did I get it right? Whew. All right, who are just starting their journey. Or Marin, who is even younger and starting, aren't you, girl? Yeah, starting her journey, of life. And then we have those that are on the other end of the journey. But either you are where someone else has been, or you are where they are, or you are where they will be. You follow me? We're all in that journey. And we're just at varying places along that path, that journey that is there. So together, our lives are very intertwined in many, many different ways. In Isaiah that you just heard, but 40:18, it says this, "To whom then will you compare God? What image will you compare to him?" So how are you going to compare things, stuff that's been created to the Creator? Well, when we approach God, we find the one that can truly be called the other. God is beyond time, beyond space, beyond physical needs, beyond intellect. Because God was the creator of all that. God is the Alpha and the Omega. And in the Greek alphabet, that's the first letter and the last letter. The Alpha being the first, the Omega being the last. God is the first and the last. God is not a created being, as all of the rest of us are. God was before time. God created time. We live within God's creation that is there. God is that uncreated one that is beyond our reality. And God is the one who we can't trap in our life or in our world. Because God transcends, goes beyond the world that we live in. Now, we will at times try to trap God. We will do that. We'll try to put God in a box. And the way some of us do, especially within the church, is that we'll say, okay, baptism has got to be done this certain way. All right, you got to be sprinkled, you got to be sprayed, you got to be dunked, it's got to be 1, 2, or 3 times. Or communion means a certain specific thing, and it's to be done a certain way. Or various things, and we try to put God in this box that says, if it's not done this way, then God doesn't like it. It's not pleasing to God. We take on the Holy Spirit ourselves. Yet God is above that, is above the boxes that we try to put him in. Now, I can run away from you. I could head down. I don't know how many of you watch, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but the swamp people, the gator hunters, you ever see those that are out there? And there's a couple of brothers that I can remember, and I think recently one of them died a year or so. Everything they eat off the land, and they live so far back in the swamp, except for a couple of swamp people, nobody else knows they're even there. Now, you could find that out in the very rural areas of our country, be that rural in the desert, rural in the jungle, or wherever. But you could also do the same thing and hide right in the middle of a big city. A big city with millions of people can be one of the loneliest places in the world. And you can hide there quite easily if you so desire to. So we can hide from each other. And it's possible for us to live without impinging upon one another's time, space, or so on. But in verse 21 of Isaiah 40, it says this, "Do you not know? Have you not heard? Has it not been told to you from the beginning? Have you not understood since the earth was founded? He sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, and its people are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the heavens like a canopy and spreads them out like a tent to live in. He brings princes to naught and reduces the ruler of this world to nothing. No sooner are they planted, no sooner are they sown, no sooner do they take root in the ground than he blows on them and they wither away. And the whirlwind sweeps them away like chaff. To whom do you compare me? Or who is my equal, says the Holy One? Lift up your eyes and look to the heavens. God challenges us. There is no other like our Creator. There's no way for God, the ultimate other, to be excluded from our life either. God is here. God has been here since before any of us or any of what we have here was created. Because God is a creator. And God will be here after all that we see and smell and taste and touch is gone. Because God is before and God is after all that ever is or was or will be. God is the ultimate other. And God is the last authority in your life. Now, whether you acknowledge God or not, you can be an atheist, an agnostic, basically saying, I don't care, or no, I don't believe in a God. And that's all right. As I speak with people, especially that are in their last moments in time, and of course that could be any of us at any time, heart attack and we're gone now or whatever, but speak with people about that. Let's bring it down to numbers, to being a gambler, all right? And I can gamble that there is no God, and that's what I'm betting on, right? There's no God. That's what I'm going to stand on, and that's what I believe. Okay? Fine. And the world comes to an end. Your world comes to an end. By whatever means that may happen. Someone decides to take your life, or you die of cancer, old age, whatever it may be. But your time in this world is terminated. Now, or is completed. Well, that sounds better, doesn't it? Is completed. And so now, I'm at the end of the time. And if you're right, that there is no God, there is no afterlife as such, then what's going to happen? Nothing, right? I'll be planted in the ground, or my ashes will be spread, and we'll say nice words over you. Well, if you were a nice person, we'll do that. And we try to say nice things even if you weren't not a nice person. At least I try to find a few nice things to say about people. And so that's it. But what if what I believe is right? And what I believe is that we will have another continuance of this life in what's known as the afterlife, right? And in that afterlife, that time can be a time of joy and love and peace, or a time of pain and sorrow and no peace. Those are the options that I believe. Now, what happens if by just chance I'm right? And when we die is not the end of who we are. It's not the end of life. It's actually the beginning of our next life. It's the beginning of where we go from here. If that's the case, and you have your beliefs and decided, no, I don't believe in God, and I don't think I need to have a relationship with God because I don't believe God's there. If God's there, I don't care. Either one of those. Then I come to that point where my life as such in this world is completed today as we know it. And if I'm right, where and how do you think you will be enjoying your next life? Will you be spending time with God? Will you be where there is love and peace and joy? Well, no. You won't, because you don't have that relationship with our Creator, with our Redeemer, with the one who gave his life for us. And so the choice is there. Now, let's say, again, as an odds maker, that you said, okay, I want to make sure that after I die, that if there's a second life, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that yes, life will continue in a new way, out of this body, a spirit life. And if that happens, then okay, I want to have this positive life. So I will accept Christ. I will make God and accept him as the ultimate other, my Creator, my Savior, my Redeemer. I will make him a part of my life, accept him into my life. Well, good. But let's say that I was wrong. I was wrong. This is it. You die, that's it. There is no more. The question is, what have you lost? If you've accepted Christ and said yes, but it's all phony baloney. Okay? It's all make-believe. We are living in a make-believe world as Christians. And if it is make-believe and death occurs, well, what happens? Nothing, right? If that's the way it was. But if I was right, then there's the joy and the peace that comes with it. And so, who has the greatest amount to gain? If I accept Christ, Christ is my ultimate other, God is my ultimate other. I say thank you for the life I have. And yes, I now get to spend whatever eternity is. Some people say, what's heaven going to be like? I'm a golfer. Boy, greens, like on the 9th green, or the 10th, or whatever one you like the best. Those are beautiful. Just go lay on those. When I was at Michigan State, I used to do that. We had a golf course down there. I'd sneak on at night, just go lay underneath the stars on the 9th green. Oh, it was gorgeous. A lot better than gold or whatever that people talk about. That would be a beautiful heaven area for me. But whatever it's like in your mind, the thing is, there will be love, peace, joy, because we will be back with our Creator. So when we think about this ultimate other that is there, God will be the first and the last in our life. God is the last authority in your life. Whether we accept him or not, God will be there at the end and say, oh, I don't believe in you. Well, that's just fine. You don't have to. But whether you believe in me or not, I am. I think God said something about to Moses, you remember? I am that I am. That's what he told him to tell the Israelites. So God will have the last word. God is the one that you and I, both of us, will have to face. And let's not run like Jonah did. You remember Jonah, God had asked him to do something, and Jonah decided, no, he didn't want to do it. So he kind of went the opposite direction from Nineveh. As you recall that story of Jonah and the big fish or the whale? He went the other way. He hopped on a ship and he was getting out of here, right? Just, I'm going, or get in the car and go the other direction. Do you remember what happened to him? Yeah. He didn't jump in. He got tossed in, if you remember that. He was on the boat. The waves got really bad. The guys that were on the ship decided, you got to be unlucky, man. So over he goes. When they toss him in, everything's calmed down. and be it large fish or whatever, something came, swallowed him. 3 days, it says, in a whale or in a large fish. All I know is, after 3 days when he got spit out, and you think of stomach acids and what it would do to clothes, and you wonder why people were freaked out when they saw him on the shore? Yeah, I mean, he had to look really, whatever you say, oh yeah, I believe it, because man, you look bad. Well, it had to be freaky. But God will catch us, will draw us back. Why? Because he loves us. He loves us. He loves our family, those that we're to be in ministry with. Allow your life to be given over to the ultimate other, to the one who has created you, who loves you, who wants to be with you forevermore in this world and the next, and that will bring you peace, love, joy, and that loves you more than any other has ever or will ever. This is the great other that desires to be a part of your life. Receive him. He is here today. He desires to know you and for you to know him. In God's holy name, amen.